Okay, let's continue further. Let's look at some of the basics in Java programming. For instance, you read two numbers from the user and you have to add the numbers and print the result. Say if the user enters number 1 as 40 and number 2 as 5, we need to print something like this. Result of adding num1 with num2 is 45. So this is the actual result. This is actually a string. So what we are going to see here is how we are going to print a string and an integer together. Likewise, there can also be a difference. For instance, if the sample input entered num1 is 3 and num2 is 2, and we should print the result like this. The result of adding 3 with 2, we have to give the actual integers here, is 5. This is the sum. So we are just mixing strings and integers together in our result. So how we can achieve this is the question. We'll directly go and code this one. Let's read two integer numbers from the user. Let's add them and print the result as we have seen in the slides. So let us give a sysout statement here asking the user to enter two numbers. So we'll say enter two numbers. We'll scan the numbers using a scanner object. So it is scanner input is equal to new scanner system.in. So we have created the object for the scanner class, and then we'll read int num1 is equal to input dot, say we are reading an integer value here, so it is dot next int, and then we'll read another number num2 that is equal to input dot next int. So we are reading two integer numbers here. Now we have to display the result as shown in the slides. So how can we display the result? Let's have a sysout statement, and we'll say the result of adding num1 with num2 is, so this is a string, and we need to concatenate that with the result, so we have to give a plus, and then we can open parenthesis, that is num1 plus num2. So what we are doing here is we are just concatenating this particular string with the result. So we are mixing integers and string together in our output. We'll save this and we'll run this. Let's see what is our output. So it says enter two numbers. We'll enter 2 and 3. So you see here the result of adding num1 with num2 is 5. So that's how in your output you can mix string and integers together and display the result. Now let us take it further. Instead of just saying num1 and num2, we want to say the result of adding 2 with 3 is 5. How can we change that? For that, we should make some small changes to our output. So the result of adding, so here a string ends, and then we have to give a plus because we are concatenating this with the actual integer value. So the result of adding num1 is a variable here, and then you again give a plus quotes. So this is the string with, again you give the quotes and then give a plus num2. So is again a string, so you have to give a plus and then you have to give the quotes. So wherever you're going to have the string, wrap that in quotes, and then once when that is done, give a plus sign. Now you have the integer num1 plus, this is a string, so give it in double quotes with, and you can give spaces for better readability, and then plus, this is the next integer value, plus is, and then plus the final result. So let us go and take a look at the output here. So it's asking us to enter two numbers. Let's enter 3 and 2. So the result of adding 3 with 2 is 5. So no matter what numbers you give here, that will be, tagged in the output. So let's again run this one. Let's take 33 and 44. So you see here the result of adding 33 with 44 is 77. So this is a very basic simple example of how to mix integers and strings together in your output statements. So let us take an exercise now. I want you to print the multiplication table by getting a number from the user. Say if the number entered is 2, the user should be printing the table as this 2 into 1 is equal to 2. This is not a star, this is actually an X. So it's like we are printing the multiplication table. So we say 2 into 1 is equal to 2. This is actually an X. And you should not use a star there. That's not a star. So you have to print from 1 to 10, the multiplication table. You have to get the number from the user. Can you go and try this one out? Say this is an X, so we have some integers. We have some integers here, and you have a string in between. So that's why I've given you this particular exercise. Can you complete this now? So let's go and complete that. So what we are going to do here is we are going to get an integer number. So that is like either it's 2 or 3, for which we are going to print the multiplication table. And next is we have to print the multiplication table. For that we have to run a for loop. For int I is equal to 1. We'll start from 1. We'll run up till 10. I less than equal to 10. And then I plus plus. So inside this we are going to print the table out. So we'll have a sysout statement here. And what we are going to do is we are going to say num1 is this integer and then plus, and now we are going to use an x here to say it just denotes num1 into num2. So what is this num1 into, we are going to multiply it with I every time. So it's going to be num1 into I, then we have to print is equal to. So again you open quotes equal to, and again you concatenate that with the result. What is the result? It is nothing but num1 star I. So this is println. So every time it prints num1 into I is equal to the result. So let's go and try this one out. Let's save and run this. I hope you'll be getting the output. So okay, there is a fix here. It says enter two numbers. We are just entering one number. Yeah, so you're getting the multiplication table out in the format, and here we have just given x to just say that it just looks like a multiplication table. Yeah, so that's how you use strings and integers together in your output. I hope you're clear with that. Let's move forward. Let's look at some of the math functions that we'll be using in our programs. How to use the math functions. For instance, a minimum, maximum, power, square root, generating random numbers, finding the round value of a number. So all these things, how we can do. So to achieve all the math functions, we need to import this particular class available in java.lang. So it is java.lang.math. So this particular class has got so many methods. I've just mentioned a few of the important methods that we'll be frequently using. So these methods are min, max to find the minimum and maximum in a given set of numbers, power function, say raising a number to a power, square root, generating random numbers. So how can we generate random numbers? We are going to see that, and seal, floor, for any given value, how to find the seal and floor, and round of a value. And we'll also see how to round any value to two decimal places. So we'll understand all these things with some simple examples. In order to use all the functions, what I should do first is I should go and import the math class that is available in java.lang. So let's import that. Import java.lang, and it's dot math. So we have to import this class. Only inside this class we have all the methods, math functions. So we'll take some of the methods, we'll try and understand how it works. So I have two integers here. I want to find the maximum of these integers. I can go and use this directly. I'll use a sysout statement, and inside this I'll be calling math dot and say I want to find minimum of these two numbers. I can go with min. So a is 3 and b is 2. So we give the arguments and we'll run this one. So it just prints the minimum, that is 2. Yeah, you see the result there, it is 2. Likewise, you can find the max. So inbuilt functions actually help us a lot. It reduces the number of lines of code we need to write. So we can find the max. And suppose we want to raise 3 to the power 2, how we can use the power function is we can just go and use it like this. It is math.pow. And please keep in mind a and b are of type double, but we can directly assign an integer here. It converts it into a double. So here a is 3 and b is 2. So 3 square should be 9. Let's go and execute this. So it finds a power b. So 3 power 2 is 9. Let's run this one out. Let's see the output. It will be actually 9.0 because math.pow returns a double value. Okay. So how to find square root of a number? Say for instance, if I have c is equal to 81, I want to find the square root of c. I can just go with math dot square root and then give c. So you're going to find the square root here. So again, it's going to return a double. So it is 9. Square root of 81 is 9. We have found the square root. And we can also find the floor or the seal of a value using floor and seal methods. I'll tell you how to do that. Let's have a double value, double um, num is equal to some 3.56 like that. Now if I find the seal for this, so it is nothing but math dot seal. So it takes in a double, that is we'll give num. So what is this seal? If it is 3.56, it takes it to 4, the nearest integer, the nearest next level integer. After 3.56, the nearest positive integer we have is 4. So here it should be, the output should be 4 for us. Let's run and check this one out. Yeah, it's 4.0. So all these methods return a double. So that's why it's giving the value as 4.0. And now if it is floor, so it was 3.56 here. When it is floor, it will take it to the nearest integer that is lower than this, that is 3. So here, what will be the output? This will be 3. Okay. And we can also round a value. For instance, you have 3.5678 like this, and you want to perform math.round. What it does is it will round it to a value. Let's see what that value is. It should be 4 because when you have 3.5678, it rounds it to 4. Anything greater than 3.5 is rounded to 4. Anything less than 3.5 is rounded to 3. So let's go and give a value like this 3.498. So let's give 3.49. Let's check what is the output. Run this code. Yeah, 3. So anything greater than 3.5, that is going to be rounded as 4. So that's how the round method in the math class works. Okay, now let us take another example here. For instance, say you have a number like this 3.23421, and you are interested in rounding it to two decimal places. For instance, the output should be 3.23 like that. How can you achieve that? We can achieve that by a simple step. So you have math.round. What we are going to do here is we are going to multiply this number by 100.0, and then we are going to divide the result with 100.0. See, make it a point to give dot 0 here, because when you divide it with only 100, and any division with an integer leads to an integer value. So you have to divide it with an 100 point 0 so that you get a float result out. Now let us go and save this, execute this. Let's check whether we are able to round it to two decimal places. Yeah, if you want to round it to three decimal places, just give into 1000.0 by 1000 and save it, run it. So you're going to get 3.234. Yeah. We can also go and use the format classes in Java to format our output. We'll be looking at that thing later. But right now using math.round, how can you round it to two or three decimal places? That's how we do it. Now let us take a look at the random method in the math class. Random method generates a positive value that falls between zero point 0.0 to 1.0. So it randomly generates a value within this range. Let me show you how to use the random method to generate a random number. Let's delete all these things. Let's go to the Sysout statement and we'll use math.random. So again, this returns a double value and the value will be anything between zero point 0.0 and 1.0. So every time you run it, you're going to get a random value in your output. So this is a random value. When I run my program again, you can see there will be another random value. And all these values will be between zero point 0.0 and 1.0. So that is the use of math.random. So you can ask me a question, what if we need to generate a random value, say between 1 to 1000, or I want it to be a positive integer greater than 1, say 1 to 1000, or I want to generate any random float or boolean. How can I do that? The first thing we have to do is we have to import this particular class java.util.random, and I have given util.star here, but just for understanding I have given this java.util.random class should be imported. And the next step is we need to create an object of type random. So random rand is equal to new random. So once when you're done with the object, we'll use the methods of this object for generating random numbers. So how we perform that is it is rand dot next int. So this is going to generate a random integer value. That integer can be positive or negative. So let me show that int result is equal to rand dot next int. Some random number will be generated. Let's print the number out. So the number is printed here. Let's go and check this one. This is a random integer. Yeah. So sometimes a negative number is also getting printed. So any random integer, large integer, is getting printed here. Suppose I want to limit the value from 0 to 500. I want only random integers to be generated from 0 to 500. Then I can go and give 500 as the limit here. So and then if you run, now the random integers that are getting generated will be within the range 0 to 500. You can go and check that again. Okay, so that's how you generate random integers. We can also use this object to generate random double values, random. I'll show you that it's next double, next float, next int, next boolean. So you can generate random values of different data types. So that's how you can also generate random numbers using java.util.random class and then by creating an object for that particular class. Okay, I hope you're now clear with all these important methods. And as I told you, there are a lot many methods other than this. For all the list of methods, you can verify this link docs.oracle.com and you can verify the documentation to get a big list of methods. Yeah, we'll take a look at the next interesting concept, Java conversion. Say, if you have a variable of string data type, how to convert that to integer. Likewise, how to convert an integer to string, how to convert a string to character, how to convert a character to string, a character to integer, double to integer, and integer to double. So this will be facing in our application. Sometimes there will be need for us to convert one data type to another data type. So how we can achieve this conversion in Java? Let us take a look at string to int. So we are going to convert a string to an integer. For that, let's say I have a string test is equal to. So this is a string, and I want to convert this to an integer. So I'll say int result is equal to. So if I want to convert the string, I'll do integer dot parse int, and here the argument should be given as a string. So test is the string that is given to this method, and we can go and print the result out. What is the result? It is result. So what happens is that 23, which was a string, got converted to an integer. Yeah, how can you test whether it is an integer? We can try and do some arithmetic operations. Plus 2 actually should print what? 25 to the output. Okay. So we were able to convert a string to an integer. Okay, the next thing is, can we convert an integer to a string? Here we have converted a string to an integer. Can we convert an integer to a string? So let's take some integer value. Int uh, test is equal to, say, 29 or 28. So we should convert this to a string. Let us take a string result. So we'll, how to convert this? We'll say integer dot to string. So there's a method to string, and then we pass the integer value here. So now this integer gets converted to a string by using this method, and let's go and print the string out. So now 28 is a string, it's not an integer anymore. We have finished this. String to integer we have done, and integer to string we have done. String to character, how can we convert a string to character? Let's take a string, for instance, string name is equal to Satish, and we want to convert this to a character. Character k is equal to, we can give it like name dot character at, we can give the index. Say if I give index 0, the character s will be moved to this particular variable. So let me go and print this. So how I'm converting this particular string to a character is, I'm just taking out one of the characters by using the index. If I give index 0, s will be printed. Yeah. If I give index 1, a will be printed. So let's go and try that. If I give index 1, a will be printed. So we are taking one of the characters in a string and moving it to a character variable, and we are using this function, that is dot character at, and we are passing the index. So that's how you convert a string to a character, and for that we have used caret function. Can we convert a character to a string? So character dot to string, and we have to pass the character. So we are going to use this method to convert a character to a string. Let's go and try that out. Let me have character test is equal to, say this is a character, and if I want to convert this string result is equal to, How will I convert that? I'll use this method character dot to string. And what is that we have to pass here? We have to pass that particular character. So now if we go and print this result out, D. So we have taken a character and the method we have used is character dot to string, and we are passing this character as an argument, and then we are printing the result. So we have finished character to string and character to integer. So how can you convert a character to integer? For that we are going to use this particular method character dot get numerical value of int. So let's go and check that out. Say if I have a character t is equal to 1 is a character here. If you want to convert this 1 to an integer, say int result is equal to character dot get numeric value. We're just going to get the numeric value of t. So now this 1 becomes an integer 1. Let's go and print this out. So your result is nothing but an integer value. So 1. How can you check whether it's an integer? You can perform an arithmetic operation and check. Yeah. So that's how you can take a character and convert it into an integer. Double to int. Can you have a double converted to an integer? Let's go and try that one out. So you have double. Let's take double. T is equal to some value 3.456, something like that. And int result is equal to, say, let me assign the double value directly. Now it gives me an error. It says there's a type mismatch. We cannot convert double to an integer directly. So for that we should add a cast. That is like we'll say convert this to an int. This we have done in our C and C++. You should remember that. So now t is converted to an integer and assigned to result. Let's go and print this one out. What will be there in the result? It will have an integer value. The integer value is nothing but 3. Let's run this. You can see here the integer value is 3. So that's how you convert a double to an integer. How will you convert an integer to double? Direct assignment. For instance, it's the reverse of this, right? Say if I have integer t is equal to 3, I want to convert this to double. So double k is equal to just assign t. Now you print this k. What will be there in k? K will be like a double value, right? So this 3 will be converted to 3.0, so it becomes a double. So it's direct assignment. Let's go and run this one out. Yeah. So we have seen so many types of conversions here. There are so many other types of conversions to boolean to int, into boolean, into string, and so many other types of conversions are also there. I've just given you some of the conversions that we might be using in our applications. I hope you all have understood some of the basics in Java programming. Thank you.